Hi again, Panther fans. It's time for the Georgia State Sports Update. Dave Cohen in studio this week here in the Georgia State Sports Update, joined by head basketball coach Ron Hunter. And Coach, great to have you back in here again this week. And 1-1 this past week since we last sat in these chairs. A loss down at Georgia Southern in a close basketball game, 54-52 to the in-state rival. Georgia Southern came back and scored the most points the team has scored all year in an 83-70 win over Appalachian State. And right now we're trying to carry as much momentum as possible into New Orleans in the Sun Belt tournament.
Yeah, we are. We played Georgia Southern, and again, just like it has been most of the year, defensively we were outstanding. When you hold a team to 24% shooting in the second half and they only score 54 points, you should win that game. But offensively, it's been a challenge for us, and that's what's happening, most of the year. I think we've got 6 losses that we had this year where we hold the team under 60 points and you lost that game, and that's not supposed to happen that way. Then we come back against App and we score 83, and every shot fell, and we made threes, and so it's just been that kind of year. But if we can carry this momentum, especially offensively, over, I think we'll have a great chance in this tournament.
Well, right now, the momentum's starting to build for Georgia State basketball. Panthers have won 2 of their last 3, and they're getting ready to they're going to finish up the season on the road in Louisiana with games with Louisiana Lafayette and Louisiana Monroe. And then it's back to New Orleans and back to Louisiana for the conference tournament. Georgia Southern, it's a team we beat in overtime in Atlanta. Hanner Fieldhouse, I've been going there for years. It's not an easy place to go down and play. I mean, they seem to be one of those teams, they play better at home than they do on the road.
Yeah, they do. I think their average is close to 75 points a game, and we hold them to 54 points, and we still couldn't score enough points. But every time we play, it just seems like, it comes down to an overtime or a last-second shot. To go back to the conference tournament, go to the games last year. I think last year at our place was the only time that that a team had won by more than 10 points in this series since I've been here. But again, it's a great rivalry. Again, the team that wins, we tend to win the ones that are more important, and I'll keep throwing it out there. But again, they're great games. We just couldn't make enough baskets, couldn't hit a free throw in that time. And then, like I said, we come back against App, and we were able to make shots.
Coach, it's one of those games, too, as we're sitting on the bus heading back to Atlanta from Statesboro. Certain shots tend to stick with you, and obviously the one that stuck with me, it may have been the same for you. Mike Hughes hits a prayer 3 right at the buzzer heading into the locker room at halftime. I mean, he basically shot it as he was running towards their locker room door. It goes in. That's the shot that kind of stuck out for me because, again, it was just a 2-point game.
Yeah, that was a big shot at that time. But again, I mean, we had an opportunity to make free throws. We didn't make free throws by our seniors. Again, guys that have made, free throws all year didn't make them. Those are some critical mistakes that we got. Not really even getting into the last second of the last play when we drove and we had the kick out we missed. But again, it's just kind of how it's been our season. It's been learning experiences, but like you said, I think we're playing our best basketball right now, and so we can carry this over. Winning our 15th game guarantees we won't have a losing season, something we never want to have here at Georgia State, and we won't have that. And our seniors went out on a good note.
Well, you talk all the time and have told me time and time again, I want my team to be peaking at just the right time. Now, you had a much more experienced team the last couple of years. You got a lot of new faces, as we've talked about on this year's team. Maybe it's just taken a little bit longer to kind of reach that, peaking spot during the season that you've been looking for.
Yeah, the tough part is we've had so many inexperienced guys that didn't play a year ago. And they're all, we've got about 5 guys really in our top 8 or 9 that never really didn't play last year for us. And so they're starting to all come around at the same time. Now, I wish they would have come around in January so we wouldn't have had some of these losses. But just look at the way we've played. At home, we've won 12 games. We've been outstanding. On the road is where we struggle, and that's what happens with teams that aren't experienced. And so the great thing about the conference tournament is that there are road games. There'll be more neutral games, and I think that'll fit us more. But again, if we can just make shots, I think we're going to be a tough out come in the next week or so.
Well, and if we keep playing the same kind of defense that this team has played all year, and we've talked about it before, this is the big defense. We kind of went from one extreme to the other. Had a great offensive team the last couple of years with RJ and Ryan Harrow and even Kurt and Ryan Green. The seniors leave. Now this team's relying more on defense as scoring has been a little bit more of a premium.
Yeah, we're top 20 in the country defensively, which is an incredible stat for us. Because again, people think you have to do it by playing man, and our matchup has been terrific with that. But the problem is that we just haven't been able, like I said, score the basketball. But when you get in a tournament play, it's the defensive teams that win. And so when you get in the NCAA tournament, it's a defensive teams that win, and that's what bodes well for us. And so I think our kids are confident. They understand it. We've got some guys that have played in big games before, and so I feel really good going into this conference tournament.
Well, and then last Saturday against Appalachian State, it was senior day at the sports arena. 4 seniors on your ball club this year: Marcus Kreider, TJ Shipes, Kevin Ware, Jalen Brown. Great way to send them out. You score 83 points. That's the most points this team has scored in a game all year.
Yeah, it was great that they were able to do that. They were able to make shots. We were able to win the game. Again, that we got to our 15th win in that regards, and guarantees those guys were, the 3 to 4 years that they were here that we did some great things and we had winning records in that way. So I was really happy about that. But again, it was great for the seniors because they've done a lot. And the number 80 is what sticks out. Is that when you walk into a university as a freshman and you leave with 80 wins, that's a pretty impressive deal. Not many college basketball players get an opportunity to win 80 games, and we won it. That was their 80th win, and that was really special for those guys.
Well, did a good job, too, with Appalachian State, not letting them really kill us with their three-point shooting. They still hit 10. They took 26 threes, but Jeremy Hollowell, 18.7 rebounds, and Isaiah Williams and Kevin Ware both scored 14. If you can get that core group of 3 to score like that, we're going to make some noise here in the tournament.
No question. If those guys could get 13 or 14 points, or not so much a piece, but more than that, and then our defense stays the same. Again, right now teams are shooting less than 40% against us, 31% from the three-point line. Those numbers are crazy. So if you just maintain those numbers and find a way for that ball to go in, then I can see us playing in another NCAA tournament.
All right, we'll talk a little more with head coach Ron Hunter coming up as we move along here in the Georgia State Sports Update. Busy time at Georgia State athletically with not only the basketballs and the stretch run, but spring sports, baseball and softball, ongoing out at the ballparks out at Panthersville. We had a chance to spend some time with softball coach Roger Kincaid. Segment coming up right now is Mic'd Up with Roger Kincaid out at Bob Heck Field at Panthersville.
Okay, people, at the risk of full disclosure, I'm mic'd up right now, so everybody right here real quick. Say that fast 14 times.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, that was frickin' frack right there.
What's the color? Yellow.
Holy smokes! Don't blink, you might miss a good game here. I mean, she did everything but hit it. I don't know what happened to my good pencil sharpener, but this one ain't working for me.
Is that not your good one?
Nope. Lost in transition somewhere. My day just got better, people. All right, Mac, first base is open. This is their best hitter. Let's make sure we don't do anything crazy here. Goodness! Goodness!
I was far from the last inning.
Goodness! You didn't get yelled at. Who yelled at you?
You! Make the throw there, we get don't play.
That's not yelling, though. Hey, you need me to show you some yelling?
No.
Hey, work hard here. Keep the ball in the dirt, infield. Keep the ball in the dirt. Nice job. Good job, Annie.
Okay.
Let's go. Hey, step and throw. That's all it is. Step and throw. Nothing to it. Good job, ladies. Good job. All right, we got a scratch right here, guys. We have got to scratch right here. This is our inning. Where you at, B? Hey, right here. What's your job? Get on base. Move the line. I don't care how. Move the line, bud. Here we go. She's safe. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Nice job, B. Atta girl. That was good right there, people. That was good right there, people. Nice job, B. Good pitch, Annie. Good pitch, bud. Work hard here. Holy smokes, Batman. That's what I'm talking about. Nice job. That way you take the extra base. That way you take the extra base. That's freaking good. Hey, that's good right there. Here we go. Score. Hurry. That works. Oh, yeah. Beat it, Mo. Beat it, Mo. Oh, me and you ain't friends, man. Me and you ain't friends. Holy smokes. Me and you ain't friends tonight. I don't know what's going on tonight. We ain't friends tonight.
Hey, here we go, Mo! Battle now, Steins. Here we go.
Goodness. Here we go, here we go, here we go.
Dave Cohen back in studio with head basketball coach Ron Hunter. As we talked about in the opening segment of the show, it is the stretch run for Panther basketball. The final 2 games being played in the state of Louisiana, and then they'll come back to Atlanta and then go back to Louisiana, only this time to New Orleans. That's a little bit better a trip than the Lafayette-Monroe trip. Sun Belt Conference tournament at the Lakefront Arena in New Orleans. And as we've talked about, talking about your team peaking, seems like hopefully, knock on wood, they're peaking at just the right time, albeit a little later than maybe you would have liked. But you go to the tournament this year, you go to the tournament a little bit different mindset than we've gone the last couple of years.
Yeah, the last few years there's been so much pressure because we're going as a favorite and knowing that you got to win the championship game even to get to the NCAA tournament. And with all those things that are going on all year, you know, it would be a huge letdown if you didn't win it. And so that's what Little Rock is facing now. That's something that we faced in the last couple of years. And there's a lot of pressure with that. And so the year they're having, we had that 2 years ago. You get to the championship game and you lost. And especially this year when there's no difference really between 1 and 7 and 8, you can kind of toss it any game, any day, someone can win. So there's a lot of pressure on Lafayette. But for us, I think we can just go in and we can go play. We were experienced. We've been there before. There's nothing that's going to happen in New Orleans that we haven't seen. Matter of fact, we play well in New Orleans. Our record in New Orleans is pretty good. And so I feel really good about what this group could accomplish going down to New Orleans.
Well, if you go back to the very beginning of the season, actually before the start of the season, you did this on purpose. You took them down to the Lakefront Arena in New Orleans, played a closed scrimmage against Tulane, so no one can be in the arena, not even the media. And but you wanted to start the season at Lakefront Arena, and I know you're hoping to end the season by playing the last game and walking out of there with the trophy at Lakefront Arena.
Well, that's why we did that. We went down there, we wanted to play, and for 2 reasons. A, we wanted to kind of forget about, okay, what we did the year before. Let's, you know, because we won that game, and I think I wanted to because I tore my Achilles, and I wanted to make sure that I could actually walk in that arena and walk out that arena without crutches. So, but no, we did that on purpose, to go in there and play, and so again, I thought our guys would just feel a little comfortable going back to the arena, especially the new guys who's never been in there before, and so it won't be such a shock to them when they come in and we play in a few days in that place.
Well, again, the final 2 games on the road in Louisiana, by the time this show airs, we will have already played at the Cajun Dome in Lafayette. Monroe will be the last game of the regular season. They are quietly the second-place team in the league. It's like, you know, you listen to a lot of the media, they're talking about Arkansas, Little Rock. They're talking about Louisiana Lafayette and Sean Long. Nobody's really talking about Monroe, and they're second in the league.
Tell you what, they're coached very well. He does a great job. When we played them early in the year, they were really down. They were really struggling. I think they lost three in a row. We beat them at our place, and so he does a nice job. They got some really good senior. They got a senior guard. They're led by a senior forward who can really, really score the ball. They've got a great junior point guard, and so and their system's kind of strange and they're hard to play against. And so I can see them also another team that can make a run in this thing.
All right, and finally, before we get to questions for Coach Hunter, same thing. We all know we're in the Sun Belt Conference. It's a good league, but it's a one-bid league, and you got to get out of there. As great a season as we had the last 2 years, we managed to lose it 2 years ago in the tournament final and then win it last year. We all know what the game is before you head to New Orleans.
Yeah, I tell you what, there's a lot of pressure. I mean, the last 11 conference champions had not gone to the NCAA tournament. The only one that gone was us. So to win the tournament and win the league outright has been very, very hard to do in the Sun Belt. And so I'm hoping it happens again this year. That'd be really nice. So, and then, like I said, if we get to the point where we're in that game on Sunday, then we'll go back to the NCAA tournament just because of our experience.
All right, time now for questions this week for head coach Ron Hunter.
What's up, Coach? I'm Rashad Milligan, journalism major here at Georgia State. Is there any difference in between preparing for a conference tournament game and a regular season game?
Not really. I think you're prepared the same way. I'm more prepared. I want my team to be prepared. I can care less so much what the other team does. I want to make sure that A, we're rested, and B, that we understand that we play to our strengths. And if you do that, you'll be fine. A lot of times coaches want to get into it, and they want to change things. We just want to play to our strength and do what got us here.
Hi, my name is Ambernique Jones, and I'm a journalism major. Coach, I have a question for you. As you get closer to the Sun Belt tournament, is there a team that is tougher for GSU to play, and why?
when you get to the Sun Belt tournament, regardless of who you play, they're all good teams. You just got to make sure that you're ready to play. Some matchups are better than others. There are certain teams you might want to say you might want to play. But for us, what we want to do is we want to be playing our best basketball. At the end of the day, you still got to make more baskets than the other team. So regardless of who that might be, we just have to make sure we're ready to play.
My name is Amy Stearns. I'm a journalism major. Coach, we know that you do a ton of work with Samaritan's Feet. How can students get involved with the organization?
Well, the charity that I've been involved with probably for the last 10 years has been Samaritan's Feet. It's an organization where we give shoes to children around the world. And you can go to our website at SamaritansFeet.org to help us. Again, we're all blessed to be able to walk and have a pair of shoes. But there are children around the world today that have never had a pair of shoes. So if you want to get involved and you're interested in our organization, go to SamaritansFeet.org.
All right, Coach, good questions this week. We had a little tournament talk, a little Samaritan's Feet talk, but let's finish with a good run in Louisiana and then take some momentum into New Orleans.
Let's hope the next time we come back, we'll talk about the NCAA tournament.
All right, I want to thank head coach Ron Hunter again joining us here in studio. As I said earlier, busy time at Georgia State. Men's and women's basketball finishing up, baseball, softball, a few of the other sports underway. Time now for On the Schedule. Here's what's coming up this week at Georgia State. Coming up this week at Georgia State, baseball hosting Minnesota Saturday, March the 5th. The first pitch at 2 p.m. out at the ballpark at Panthersville against the Golden Gophers. Two teams will play again on Sunday in the series finale. That'll be a 1 o'clock start on March the 6th. On Tuesday, March 8th, baseball hosting Mercer, the in-state rival against the Bears, out at the ballpark at Panthersville. First pitch at 6 p.m. On Wednesday, March the 9th, softball will host Boston College at 3 at the Bob Heck Softball Complex. And also on the 9th at 5 p.m., beach volleyball hosting Mercer at the GSU Sand Courts. Also on Wednesday, March the 9th, women's basketball Sun Belt Tournament at Lakefront Arena in New Orleans. Men's basketball at the Sun Belt Tournament at Lakefront Arena in New Orleans as well on Thursday, March the 10th. And on Friday, March the 11th, baseball against Lafayette at the GSU Baseball Complex. First pitch at 6 p.m. And that's what's going on in Georgia State athletics. And welcome back to the Georgia State Sports Update. Joined right now out here at the beach volleyball courts right behind the Georgia State Sports Arena. Former Georgia State volleyball star and now the head coach of the beach volleyball team, Beth Van Fleet. And Beth, thanks for joining us. And boy, this is an exciting time for you because although it's a little bit chilly out here right now because we're out of the sun, beach volleyball right around the corner. You guys are set to kick off the season here shortly.
We are. Thank you so much for having me. We are very excited about the season ahead of us. We've put together a great schedule that we feel is going to put us in a great position to be competitive within our conference.
Well, let's talk about this team the last couple of years. How have you guys done? I mean, this facility that's behind us is not that old. It's only been out here a couple of seasons. Beach volleyball, relatively new on the NCAA sports scene. Talk a little bit about where the program has been and kind of its rise from the ashes.
Sure. So this is a very special year for us. Our seniors this year were the freshmen of our inaugural class. So this is our 4th year. This is the full circle of what our program started off to grow into. So starting off, we were really lucky that Georgia State believed in this sport and understood how popular it was going to become. And we've been fully supported from our administration since day one, which gave us the opportunity to travel around the country and recruit girls from all over. So we have a very strong team. We have a very mature team this year. They've worked through so many years together of trials and successes, and we're just excited to go perform this season.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about the beach volleyball team. A lot of folks that may be watching don't know. Again, as I said in the intro, Beth was a student athlete at Georgia State and played volleyball here. Now that's court volleyball,
yes,
if I got that correctly. And it's played indoors in a lot of institutions inside the basketball arena. Let's talk a little bit about your career because you played here and then you played professionally as well in beach volleyball.
Yes. So my time here at Georgia State was amazing. I loved working here, being here in the city, working with the girls that I got to compete with and train with daily on the indoor team. The indoor game is so fast-paced and there's so much strategy involved and it's so precise and it's such a fun team sport. But I'm a little bit of a ball hog and I didn't like sharing the time with 5 other people on the court. So one of my teammates here from Georgia State wanted to go play professionally in beach volleyball. So after we graduated, we worked for a couple of years, saved some money, and then moved to California to pursue our beach dream.
And don't a lot of the schools on the West Coast, for example, all those colleges in California, they're all playing beach volleyball
Yes.
and indoor volleyball and have been for years.
The West Coast volleyball scene is very strong. There's no doubt about that. But interestingly enough, when sand was initially adopted as an emerging sport for NCAA, it was the Florida schools that picked it up. So Florida by far led the country with a number of schools that had sand volleyball, which has now become beach volleyball as an NCAA sport.
So basically what she's saying is that most of the colleges that are near the ocean tend to be playing beach volleyball. Georgia State is, what, 4 hours from the nearest ocean, maybe 5.
A little bit of a drive, yeah.
But yet it's moving inland, so to say. And you know, the interesting thing about it is Georgia State, along with a number of other schools, is now a member of an actual conference, and it's the CCSA, the Coastal Collegiate Sports Association.
Yes.
And it's an outstanding league when you look at the schools that are a member of this conference.
Yes, it is. The CCSA is literally the powerhouse on the East Coast. So there's one other conference, which is the ASUN. So there's some great programs and some great schools in that conference. But then everybody else who didn't have a conference saw the benefits of being in a conference and having some conference play and eventually qualifying for an automatic qualifier into the national tournament. So yeah, so the schools in this conference are very tough.
Which Georgia State used to be a member of the Atlantic Sun Conference, and the CCSA kind of is housed and organized by the Atlantic Sun. So we're talking Georgia State, we're talking Florida State, Alabama, Birmingham, the two Florida Atlantic, Florida International, LSU and Tulane, and South Carolina. That's a really nice mix of schools.
It is, and the nice thing about the way that the tournaments work for us is that we don't have to travel to each one of those schools. We'll play a lot of those schools at a different location. So you'll have tournaments where there's anywhere from 3 to maybe 7 different schools competing. So we'll get to see some of those schools in our conference at various locations this season.
What is the competition like? For example, what are we looking at this year in the CCSA as far as you know, who's favored, who are the teams that are really going to be tough to beat this year?
It's hard to say because every year each program gets so much stronger. There's so much talent in the juniors that are graduating and coming into the program. So you really don't know until the season starts. Historically, FIU, Florida State, Tulane is really emerging right now, LSU as well in South Carolina. Of course, we like to put ourselves into that mix as well. I think that we've done all the right things to put ourselves in position to emerge from the CCSA this season.
All right, so when you're talking volleyball, again, as Beth and I have mentioned, we're talking indoor on a court, which is how many players?
6.
6. You move outdoors into what we'll call the sand, which is the courts here behind us. And there are 3 beautiful courts here behind the Georgia State Sports Arena that the beach volleyball team uses. Now you're talking two girls. So the game and the strategy is completely different.
Absolutely. And you're talking 2 and no substitutions. And that, I think, is the biggest difference in the 2 sports, is that in indoor you have very specialized players who have a very specialized role and they become masters at that one skill. When they are in the back row or the front row, they may be subbed out. In beach, you have to be able to do every skill. If there's any weakness in your game, your opponent's going to see it and they're going to exploit that and make you do that skill over and over and over. And if you're having a bad day, we can't sub you out. So you have to figure out how to literally get yourself out of that rhythm and find a successful strategy with your partner. It's a lot of problem solving in the sand.
And if you've played beach volleyball just as a fun sport, if you've been at the beach with your family on vacation, it's not easy because when you're indoors, the footing, as you can imagine, is a lot better. When you're in the sand and you're barefoot, and it's tough to get your footing, for lack of a better term, in order to set, you know, in order to play as a pair.
Absolutely, and it's really interesting. Lots of times we'll have fans who come watch, and at the end of the day, they're like, "I'm so tired from walking around in the sand." And the other things that you don't necessarily notice are the wind. So the wind outdoors is going to move the ball around so much more. So that becomes a little bit of your strategy as well.
All right, let's talk a little bit about your team this year. Let's highlight some of your top players, all your players who you're looking at this year, and you know, how you guys are shaping up.
Sure. So I think starting off with the CCSA, they had a preseason poll and picked the preseason team. We were really lucky to have 2 girls from our team chosen. That's Sara Olivova and Jansen Button. They last year won a very crucial match for us at the national tournament in the Paris competition, and they were awarded All-American status. So it's really special to have 2 All-Americans coming back for their senior year to compete. We also have very strong players in Caitlin Rawls and Nina Intervis. They emerged last year kind of mid-season for us, and we're really excited to see what they're going to be doing this season. I could really talk about every girl on our team. We have so many talented, special individuals. But I'm really excited to see the growth. Some of our juniors have been in the lineup since day one, and they're really starting to figure the game out and grow from there. So Jessica Forspring is someone who we've just watched the power of her game continue to grow each year, and so we're really excited to see what she's going to produce this year.
Just out of curiosity, following in the footsteps of their head coach who played indoor and then went on to play sand, do you have any that play both here?
That's a great question. Dee Dee Bohannon from the indoor team last year joined us for the sand, and we loved having her out here. She brings a completely different dynamic, but her block is so strong, and when she attacks balls, it helps us defend so much. But it's a struggle because you have to adjust to playing with just two people. And she was able to crack into the lineup some, but she definitely brings a lot of strength to our team when she's out here at practices.
All right, again, it's a little chilly out here today, but you open the season March the 5th. You're going to be in a little bit warmer temperature,
Yes.
Boca Raton, Florida, down at the Florida Atlantic Invitational.
Yeah, we're really excited. So we'll start off playing North Florida, and then we'll play Weber, and then our first conference match of the year, our first conference duel will be against Florida Atlantic. So this weekend, we're going to open up and really get an idea of where we are. People keep asking us right now, how are you guys looking? And I'm like, we're looking like Georgia State Beach Volleyball. I don't know what that looks like compared to the other teams until we start playing them. So we've done everything we know to do to prepare, and we think we're in the place to be successful, but you just don't know until you see what the other schools are doing.
Well, Mercer will be here at Georgia State on March the 9th. Then you're at the LSU Invitational. You've got the College of Charleston tournament. And then on March 29th, this is you got the defending champion. You're going to face Southern California.
Yeah.
That's a huge, huge match.
It is, it is. We're really looking forward to playing them. We didn't get to play them last year. They are a very talented team. Last year they were undefeated in every single duel that they played. So they have a giant target on their back and they're used to the pressure, but it's always fun to go up against the national champion from the previous year.
Well, lastly, a beautiful facility here for the Georgia State Beach Volleyball. I know you guys love it out here. I've been out here a couple of times, and you've had great crowds out here, which makes for a great atmosphere.
Yeah, we have. We have had so much support from the students and the athletics department as well, but it's a beach party out here. We have music going nonstop. There's concessions. People can just come in. It's all free, so it's a lot of fun, and it's a great environment because there's nonstop action. So it can be a little bit hard when you first show up to figure out who's doing what on which court, but as you sit there for a few minutes and watch and take in the games, you can really get swept away in the competition.
Well, best of luck this year. It's been good talking to you, talking a little beach volleyball. I got to go to Louisiana with men's basketball. I'd rather go to Boca Raton with beach volleyball. So best of luck as you guys open the season.
Thank you very much.
All right, I want to thank beach volleyball head coach and former Georgia State star Beth Van Fleet. And that's going to wrap it up for our show this week. For the entire crew, I'm Dave Cohen. We'll see you next week right here in the Georgia State Sports Update.